looks good.
Hello, and welcome to Dad's Table. Tonight we're going to be making a creamy baked ziti. Sounds like a perfectly good comfort food that is relatively inexpensive to make, quick to make, and it has some fairly decent nutritional values as well. So let's get started.
Let's get started.
So we're going to start off with an onion. It doesn't call for much of an onion. It's about a half of a cup. So I've got a leftover onion from a meal that we did just a couple of days ago. So I'm going to use the other half of it. This way we're saving money and being cost effective. And we want to have this as a diced onion. So we're going to slice this really small slices. Okay, and so now that we've got our diced onions, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and preheat our Instant Pot. So we're going to open this up. We're going to select saute and let that start warming up while we probably should have done that before dicing up the onion, but I got excited. Right, we are going to add 2 teaspoons of olive oil into our Instant Pot. We'll let that start warming up while we're looking at our other ingredients. We're going to saute the onions for a few minutes before we add our other ingredients, which would be the ground beef, garlic, salt, and pepper. Those will be the next things that go in, but at first we're just going to saute the onions, get them nice and flimsy and soft. So we'll go ahead and add these onions. So it's not going to take very long for the onions to start to soften. So then we're going to add our ground beef. And again, we'll be using a lean ground beef because there will be no getting rid of the fat or the grease out of it. So you want to use a lean, ideally 93.7 difference. And then we want 1 teaspoon of black ground pepper. 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. And then 1.5 teaspoons of minced garlic, which I'm going to do 2 because I have a tendency to like garlic a lot. And we're going to stir those together until the meat is browned. Our beef is just about brown, so while we're waiting for the last few minutes, we are going to do 3 cups of chicken stock, unsalted. I've got a 2 cup, so it's going to be 1.5 of those that we're going to use for this recipe. Alright, our meat is browned, so we are going to add the chicken stock. So here's 2 cups. And we're going to add 1 more cup. So again, in total of 3 cups of the unsalted chicken stock. We are going to add 1 cup of heavy cream. Stir that up. Now we're going to cancel and turn off the Instapot. Alright, so next we're going to put in 1 pound of uncooked ziti right out of the box. You don't have to pre-cook it or anything like that, which I like. It's a lot quicker than some of these recipes that you get. But we're going to put the entire pound of ziti in, but we will not stir. Do not stir it. You just want to make sure that all of the ziti is covered in your stock and cream and all the liquid. So we're just going to put that in there. Just kind of push it down. Do not stir it. Now, if for some reason your ziti is still not completely submerged, you can add 1/2 cup of water, which I'm going to do, just to help bring the level of the liquid up. So that's 1/2 cup of water. Again, do not stir. Very important, apparently in the directions. Next, you're going to do It's supposed to be 2 cups of marinara sauce. I'm just gonna use this 23.5 ounce jar. Put that in there, but again, do not stir. All right, so we've got the marinara on there, and now it is time to put the lid on and lock it. I'm gonna place the bobber in place. Move this out just a little bit. And we're gonna hit manual, and we're gonna cook this for 5 minutes. So it'll take about 10 minutes to pressurize and get the pressure and the heat going, and then 5 minutes to cook, and then we're ready to go. But since we have time, let's clean up the kitchen. Make Mama happy. So I just recently got back from going to the grocery store, buying all the ingredients for this. And, you know, among some of the other items, the cashier, when I was going through the groceries, they asked me if I wanted my milk in a bag. And I replied, no, just leave it in the carton. So while we're waiting for this to cook, let's go over the cost breakdown. This is 6 servings, 6 to 8, 6, 7, 8 servings. And I'm basing this cost on 6 just because it's more than the 8. But your ground beef, around $9. Your onion is about $1. The chicken stock for a 32 ounce unsalted is about $3.50. The heavy cream is about $4. The full pound of ziti pasta is around $2. Marinara was around $3, and we haven't got to it yet, but a bag of shredded mozzarella for a 2-cup bag, which is what you're going to use. I've got a 4-cup, but for a 2-cup bag, that's $3. So your total cost, $25.50, $26. For a serving of 6, that's about $4.25. That's really hard to beat for a very delicious meal that serves 6 people. So $4.25, that's not bad at all. As far as your nutritional facts, this per serving, it's around 625 calories. Your protein is going to be around 32 grams, so that's a good amount of protein. Your fat is going to be 32 grams, but your saturated fat's 16 grams, so half of it is saturated fat. Low on the high end. Calories a little high depending on what you're looking for in your nutritional diet, but overall, fairly decent meal. Just a little update. When I started the Instapot, it was about 18 minutes ago, and it's still waiting for it to pressurize before cooking the 5 minutes. So we might be going over the 30-minute mark on this one. I don't know if it's my particular Instapot. I've used it so many times that it's starting to take longer to pressurize or what, but in this case, we're gonna miss our 30-minute mark. As you can see, it's still in the on position. It hasn't started the countdown just yet, but once it gets there, it'll only take 5 minutes. So we'll stay tuned and keep you informed on that one. All right, so we've started the countdown. It is taking around 20 minutes for the Instapot to get up to pressure. So just be aware that it could still be a 30-minute meal. It may go over. We'll have to reflect that on the scoreboard. But since I have some extra time, I thought I'd give you a bonus dad joke.
Stop it!
Scientists had tried to make a diamond-shaped duck, but it quacked under pressure.
Nothing can stop me.
Since we've got about 2.5, 3 minutes left, we might as well go ahead and start prepping for that final step. What we want to do is we're going to divide out 2 cups of cheese. You want to do 1.5 cups of mozzarella cheese that you will stir into the Instant Pot once it's finished. And then another 1/2 cup for topping. Also another topping, if you want to add some fresh basil, just to kind of give it a little extra flavor. That's a suggested topping as well. Well, that means it's ready. So we are going to release the pressure. Allow that steam to get out. So just taking the lid off, and we're going to add 1.5 cups of mozzarella shredded cheese. And that we are going to stir in one quick side note, you do want to let it stand about 5-10 minutes before serving. So yeah, that adds a little bit more time onto it, which will reflect on the scoreboard. And there you have creamy baked ziti. It looks fantastic. I'm ready to eat.
It certainly does look delicious.
All right, scoreboard time. Time under 30 minutes. Not really. I was sold a bag, I forgot what this thing is, but sold something of goods. Maybe you guys can remember what it is. But in the end, it took me 45 minutes. So I can't give that a really high score. Whether it was my Instant Pot or not, that's a kind of a low score for me, so I'm gonna give that a 5. Food costs, dollars per serving. We were around $4.25. So that's pretty good. I'll give that a 10. That, by today's standards, that's pretty good. Is it healthy? Now, we said it was 625 calories. The fat was 32 grams. Saturated fat was half of that, so 16. But the protein we had at 32 grams as well. So high in protein. So that's decent. Based on the fat, and it's a little high in the calories, I'm gonna give it a 7. So not one of our highest rated meals, but still it'll get the job done. Well, I appreciate you watching this episode of Dad's Table. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments if there's any recipes or anything that you want me to take a look at, or how you would alter this recipe. Again, I appreciate it, and until next time, take care.